Okay, I call this meeting to order. This is the Franklin Civic Celebration Committee. It's Monday, August 26th, and I'll take a roll call. Bob Knackert.
Here.
Carl Budnick.
Here.
Alderman
John McCullough.
here. Ann Adamski. Here. And new committee member
Joe Mercado.
Joe Picato.
Or Mercado.
Okay,
Here.
here. Let's start with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, we usually start a meeting. I do not have a minutes of the meeting here, so we usually start it off with citizen comment period. Do we have any citizens here that want to make a comment? Okay, we're good on that. Okay, then let's start. You got that agenda there? Oh, we got an election of chairman and vice chairman. I plan on doing it again. Does anyone want to run an election for chairman?
I nominate John for chairman and Ann for vice chairman.
I second on both.
Motion accepted. Okay, now we're going to go over what I just passed out.
Got to vote on the election, Joe.
Huh?
Got to vote on the election.
Okay, let's vote on it then. Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed?
Hey, you go, you're chairman again.
All right. Usually we compare the previous year numbers with the current ones. Donations was really close, from our donors. So that amount was, pretty much equal. Ticket sales deposits. We had 77,000 in 2023, and in 2024 we had 75,000. So in our 4 days, we had less ticket sales than we did in 2023 over the 3 days. I got thinking about it. What we did in 2023, we had off the 4th of July weekend, where people, I think, could attend better. This one here, we had the 4th of July fell on a Thursday, so we had Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and probably affected sales too because that was a 5-day weekend for people. I mean, we had good attendance, but anyone else got any ideas why?
Possibly the bands might have had something to do with it. I'd say from an outside perspective, your bands, and a lot of people had to work on the 5th. So.
And had to work on the 5th, yeah.
That was not a given floating holiday for everybody. So I know my company and a lot of people that I ride Harleys with, and there was a lot of us. The bands were one, and a lot of guys had to work on that Friday.
Yeah.
So.
Well, and on the 5th was Lunch Money Bullies.
Yes.
Which we thought would be a good attraction of the Harley people and the motorcycle people.
Yeah.
That was our day of lowest sales.
Yes.
We
I
took
forget
in
what you were competing against in the other communities.
yes,
I can't
Greendale had Bella Cane on
Yeah.
that Friday night.
Yeah.
So we were competing against Greendale. We had Bella Cane on Saturday night, but they already could have gone to Greendale because even the sales for Bella Cane were down, not equal to what they were the previous year.
And I'd be curious when I saw, there's about 30 of us that rode down to Bella Cane down at the Bud Pavilion when they were down there, and it was crowded, but it's not crowded like it used to be. I mean, a couple of years ago when Bella Cane was here on, I think, the 4th of July weekend, I mean, the whole place was full. So I'm just wondering if their audience is people are starting to say, okay, we're getting a little tired of Bella Cane. It's just a personal perspective. And I ride with a lot of people on bikes, and we're like, seen them already, same show.
Yeah.
Like,
Well,
it's almost a must-have. It's like you gotta have them, right?
If you go by sales,
Yeah.
their sales equals the other 3 nights altogether.
Yeah.
If you go by sales, and their cost is 2,000 more. So it's a
Yeah.
The other thing, we did take out tables inside the tent. So we did have a lot more people in the tent actually that were standing. By taking out the tables, we used to fill the tent up halfway with tables for people to sit. But because it got so crowded on the outside now, we took out the tables, and inside the tent, it was, I think a lot more people were in that tent than we had previously that were outside the tent. But then they're standing and they don't want to lose a spot or what it is. But I think because they were in Greendale Friday and with us Saturday. This year, we're looking at Bella Cane again. They can only play, they play on the 4th of July in Illinois where they're locally from. They also,
3rd of July, they played Illinois.
On the 3rd of July, yes. On the 4th, they're really booked, but they're not available on the 4th. So all we have is the 5th, the 3rd, 4th, and 5th. Greendale wanted them on the 5th, but they committed to us because they've been coming here they've been going to Greendale every year also. Greendale then changed and opened, they're starting on Wednesday. And they got Bella Cane for Wednesday night during the week, just to have them.
It's the night before the 4th.
So they're doing Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. Yes, Mr. Knacker?
I don't just look at numbers quick. We were down in beer sales, but food sales were up. The carnival was up. The non-food vendors were up.
Yeah.
So the people were here. They just didn't seem to drink.
Yeah,
as much.
so we'll go on to that. The food vendors, your people are there. The food vendors did better in sales, okay? The city funds, that's a given from the city. The carnival commission was up, but they also ran on Sunday. So they ran an extra day. They ran actually 5 days versus 3 days in the previous one.
Chip could have told you how much he did on that last day, though. He can tell us. He knows what it is.
Yeah. Well, they had bad weather too. The non-food licenses, that's our peddlers. The ATM rental shows that more people use their credit card. The other thing that I know, with the food vendors, a lot of the food vendors felt they did really well. The only problem we have with food vendors was they use the tablets now, and we have to address that, for charging things. People ran into problems because we always were cash only. Then we allowed them credit cards, but now they got the tablets. When you have a tablet, you ask for tips, you charge sales tax. No, we got to address that with them and say you're going to have a fixed price for everything you're selling.
Okay. Yes. Or at least posted.
So, any questions on the income? Okay, let's look at page 2. Entertainment. Because we went from 3 days to 4 days, entertainment was more, and because that includes the drone show.
What was the cost on the drone show?
$9,000.
It's not bad.
We thought we'd get a sponsor for that, but we never could. We never did. It was something that at the last, they contacted me in April, and to go through all the paperwork and all the permits and all that stuff, we were lucky to get them, but now they're getting bookings all over. They did New Berlin the same night as us with the same company. Printing of the tickets, that, we added more tickets printed, thinking there'd be more sales. So the next one, police and DPW, $54,000. After last year it was 50. That's a killer. Yep.
But you had 4 days instead of 3, right?
And the next category was the parade. The parade was less because we had it on the 4th of July last.
Yeah, but I didn't spend that much money. My expenses weren't that high. There's gotta be something more in there.
Flags includes flags.
Flags are that expensive.
About $2,000.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, with police and DPW, we also had 2 traffic days. We had the parade for traffic and the fireworks that night, and then you had the drone show traffic, just like the night of the fireworks.
Yeah.
So,
That was 2 big nights.
so the 2023 was only 3 days, right?
Yes.
And so 2024 was 4 days. So police were actually less per day because it was 13.5, which is about
Yes.
2024, and they were.
If you look at it per day.
Yeah, they were like 17 per day in 2023.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, if you do compare the cost, but even the 50,000 was we pay for
Mhm.
overtime, we pay for their FICA,
Yep.
we pay every employee that works overtime and salaries.
Mhm.
We
And for
never
the
had an
record,
incident.
we're the only city that charges their celebration committees for police and DPW that I could find.
Well, the interesting thing is the city donates, right? The city funds, they're putting 30K in,
Yeah,
and then essentially charging 54.
there you got
So
my
the
point.
The question is, can we just have them donate the police?
No, have them not donate 30,000, but not charges for police
Right,
and
that's what I'm saying, is
DPW.
to donate the police.
Because if that would have been the case, we would have been a difference of $24,000 between the 30 and the 54.
Mhm.
And you look at the total net income and loss,
Mhm.
we would have been in the plus
Yeah.
on our own.
No, the difference is only 17. Because last year they gave 13, this year it was 30.
Yes, but
So-
the 30, I took into account the 30 versus the 54. That's a difference of 24,000. Okay?
Okay.
So if we didn't get any city fund, they wouldn't give us anything out of that.
Yeah,
Okay?
either don't give anything or just give equal to whatever we get charged, so then we're zero.
And we pay even all the supplies, we pay all the trash bags, we pay all that stuff that DPW uses. Okay, any other, fireworks, last year was 30,000, this year. Good feedback on the fireworks, people loved it. Ice cream, pretty much the same, just a little cost went up. Then you look at the beer. The beer was less because, of course, we had less beer sales, except for one group called the Lions Club, who almost doubled their sales.
That's not twice, it's a third.
A third?
Sure, you got 2,000 last year, 3,000 this year, come on.
Were you guys running the craft beer stand? Was that you?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, that's why. You had some good beer. I don't drink beer, but all
I don't either.
my buddies said
That's what
they.
makes you a perfect bartender.
Yeah.
You're talking, the difference was 1,900 versus 3035, but that's after you take out the cost and all that. But if you take your beer sales, your cup sales, you actually did, because we pay all that,
Yep,
but you actually did double, almost 75%, not 100%, but your keg usage was way up.
well, thanks to that green stuff, that ecto cooler, that was big. And they gave us smaller cups. So we normally went with a 14-ounce cup, and they gave us 12-ounce cups. So we were giving less beer for the same amount of money.
Yeah.
But that stays in the commission.
Just like Ritz crackers. Yep. But everybody was talking about that beer. I was in the ticket booth for like a couple hours, and it's all I heard is, "Where's the ecto cooler? Who's got it? Where are they located? I can't find it. I'm not buying tickets if I can't find them." Like, oh my God. So I went and sat outside and then watched everybody, and they're right there. I will walk you over. Oh, thank you. That's all they talked about, so you better have it again next year.
Yep.
And a big sign.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Maybe get a mascot, some kind of creature then.
Yeah, and then the bill from Beer Capital, we sold 514 total cases of beer. In 2023, we sold 584 on our side. That's not on the keg side or anything. That's just the canned beer that we are selling. So we went from 584 down to 514.
Do we know what Lions did as far as kegs 2023 to 2024, even though it is different beer?
Yeah, we know what they did by kegs. Yeah, I got that.
Didn't we raise the price on some of the beer we were selling? Didn't we have some $6 beers?
We went from 5 to 6. So
Tea.
That would cut down your volume of sales.
our number one seller was Coors Light. Number 2 was Miller Lite. Then there was a tie between White Claw Black Cherry and Liney Summer Shandy. They finished tied for 3rd. Modelo Special was 5th. Twisted Tea was 6th. Blue Moon Belgian White was 7. And Pabst was 8. But they're all still pretty good compared to White Claw. I mean, if you compare them, you know, what the Coors Light was 156 versus I'm blind. Versus 130. So we sold 156 cases in 2023 versus 130 in 2024 of just the main seller, Coors Light. Any questions?
But if you add in, so your sales were up.
Ours were,
So
Yeah.
total volume, if you take out that, because you're gonna, if someone, I'm not saying somebody's gonna go from a Coors Light to craft, but maybe did some of that, did we have a shift, right?
Generally, people come in looking for a craft beer, drink the craft beer.
Yeah.
Nobody goes and has a Coors Light and say, oh, there's craft beer, let's go have a craft beer. They don't do that.
Yeah, I got, if there's craft beer available, I have friends that would go to craft beer.
Sure.
But if it's not available, they're going to like.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Okay.
But you did still, if even the cups were less, you went through 2023. You went through 9 kegs
Okay?
and 13 kegs in 2024.
And some of that was due to that, what's it called?
Ecto cooler.
Ecto cooler.
I haven't tasted that stuff yet.
Because we ordered 2 extra kegs of that after the first night. Or the
That
second
was
night.
5 kegs of that.
Yep.
5 kegs of the Ecto.
And we've never ordered extra beer.
You went through, the most you did was 3 kegs of City Lights.
Yep.
20. So was the brand was a big factor.
I think so.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, had it been.
I think the brand was a big factor. And the fact that we had that green cooler for some reason that,
Yeah, and that could be another factor why they bought more from the draft beer than they did the canned beer.
but that doesn't make up 60 cases, does it?
No, no, but I'm saying it lessened it, but I don't know if we would have maybe sold that many cases still. I think we had other factors, but it was a factor that made the sales be down just as part of it.
But don't forget, last year they came and took 2 pallets or a pallet of beer from us for Greendale.
Yeah, but we got credited for that.
Yeah, but wouldn't that be part of that?
No, this is sales. This is what we got billed for sales. So they credit us what they took from us.
John, you know, you're talking 584 cases in 2023, but that was 4 days.
3 days, 2020, no, that's 584 in 3 days.
3 days.
Yep.
Okay, I got it. Okay.
And this one,
Yeah, yeah.
ours, this one was 514.
But also, 2024 had 2 half-days.
Right? But we had the quarry tour. We had the quarry tour going on where people came, and
Yeah.
we had the 5-card studs there, before the quarry tour. But, okay, let's go on then. The next stuff is the wine. Wine, that's just what we purchased of wine. That's got nothing to do with wine sales. That was what we had to pay for the wine, because we still have wine left over. But that was our bill for wine. Soda, look at soda. Less. Then we go with supplies. Supplies was a lot less because we bought the coolers in 2023, which has been a big, big plus, having those coolers. So that's why the supplies in 2023 was more than 2024. Tent rental. Yeah, you get an increase in price in the toilets, and you get an increase in price in the tents. Plus, we had a Payne and Dolan tent. But we didn't have the wrestler's tent, so that's still pretty much, you pay the same thing for the tents if you got them for 3 days or you got them for 4 days. Because most of it is the installation and tear down. T-shirts, that's our t-shirts. Signs and banners, that was down. Background checks. Then the golf carts, we have to get a utility golf cart, when we, from par 3, so par 1 or whatever. So that was $1,300. DPW supplies, that's your bags for the trash cans and supplies that they use, postage. Then the Lions Club profit. Licenses for bartenders. Ice was down. Yeah, it's because we only bought one freezer and we ended up going and getting the ice by ourselves instead of paying a freezer price. So we saved.
Did you use less ice because of your tubs?
I'm not sure. I'd have to check how many bags we use compared to that, but I would say the bag, because we filled that thing up twice. So that's the charge for all the ice. It's not the bags itself. I can figure that out if I really want to.
No, not important.
And then the generator fuel, because we ran one more day with food vendors, you're gonna have that generator run more. So the price of the generator fuel went up, but we didn't have any problems with it.
And it was nice and quieter.
And quieter, yes.
Otherwise, in the garage, you never heard the music, 'cause all you heard was the generator.
Oh,
Okay.
that was the beer truck.
Oh, the beer truck.
That was the beer truck.
Okay.
Yeah, the beer
But
truck.
next year, we're not gonna need a generator, right?
Yeah,
I can taste that lunch already.
that was supposed to go in soon after the 4th. Not yet. Pickleball court's gotta be finished first.
So why aren't we gonna need a generator?
They're supposed to be putting in electrical. We don't-
Underground
well,
electrical, so we don't need
yeah,
generator.
For the last 40 years.
That would come out of our funds too, so,
Do we have any funds left?
not much. Cause also, yeah, when we had Home for the Holidays, this does not include any other fund that we had to pay toward. I think close to 20-some thousand. I'm guessing on that though, based on taking out what we did just now, and for home for the holidays. Any questions on the expenses or on the income statement?
The Lions Club, is that the money that we paid to them then?
Mhm.
Okay.
So as the new person on the block, the $21,000 comes out of a general fund that you're depleting? Or-
That would come out of the general fund, yes.
And I'm guessing that fund is, based on 2 years in a row, probably getting pretty low.
Yeah.
Okay.
We had it close to 90,000 at one time.
Okay. Ouch.
So has this been the trend? Okay.
3 years ago, I do have the one from 2022. 3 years ago, we were down $677.
I'd call that a wash.
Yeah.
And
How many music stages? Just one stage?
just one stage.
Okay.
We used the band shell to make up some time for entertainment. And then probably this year, you know, if we go at Bella Cane on Saturday, we're going to probably do it that way instead of tearing. Bella Cane offers their own sound system,
Yeah.
so it's all included. So our sound guy sets up for Friday. He'll set up for Thursday and Friday, tear down, and then Bella Cane will put all their sound equipment and videos and monitors and everything up. So that's why, but we shared the stage this year, and it was a nightmare. Because
So there's just not enough acreage for 2 stages, right?
it's not the size, Bella Cane needs like 6 hours to set up.
I mean, you have, like Greendale. Greendale went from a nice family-friendly to an adult-friendly
Right.
atmosphere for Greendale days. I remember taking my kids there for years, and now it's all adult catering in my eyes. There's very little, but they had 2 stages opposite, obviously.
Yeah.
And they had 2 really good bands at the same time. I think it was Mount Olive, and then they had the Stevie Nicks cover band. And that drew a lot of people to that.
Yeah.
And I'm just wondering if that's an idea. I'm new, I'm not gonna throw my ideas too much, but that's one of, that would attract a lot of people on my Harley like me, and you start bringing in some Harley bands with special Harley parking, all right?
Yeah.
And you advertise that, because we did not get Harley parking at Greendale, so a lot of us turned and just went the other way on one of those nights. But that's a big draw when you're riding a Harley where you get front row parking, and you're not walking 3 miles in your boots, you know?
Leaving your bike, yeah.
Something to think about. I don't wanna get ahead of myself, I apologize.
No, we get like that perspective, that helps.
Correct me if I'm wrong. Greendale sets up their main tent in the parking lot behind, what's his name, the restaurant guy, and behind Heinemann's back there,
Yeah.
correct?
Yeah.
The second stage is also permanent, but that's outside the gazebo. That's what they call the gazebo.
Yes.
That's right off the
So those-
street.
that stage is permanent there,
Yeah.
okay? And they're close.
Yeah, but you can't hear when I was there, you couldn't hear the competing music until you walked across the road.
Yeah. You risk a lot with that outside stage not being covered, because they did get rain that night Bella Cane was before us. They got some rain, and a lot of the equipment that Bella Cane had to be covered and was a mess. You know, they weren't happy about getting it wet like they did. But they're not undercover.
That's the risk, they know that. So, but you know, it's a good point. I mean, you don't have a cover, and I don't know if you have the space to put 2 stages.
If you saw the contracts, a lot of the contracts make us liable.
Really?
Yes.
That band's a little big for the britches sometimes. But they bring in the money, you know, and they bring in the beer sales, so.
Yeah.
All right. Sorry, I don't mean to be a disrupt, I apologize.
No, appreciate it.
Do you have copies of these from the other years, John?
What?
Do you have copies of these from the other years? Like 21 and 22?
I still got them all the way back,
I
yeah.
thought they might like those so they could kind of get a historic perspective of how we did it.
I just got the one I did in 2023 and 2022. Because I actually,
I don't know if you guys want to look back at what we were doing.
as far as sales, as far as beer sales, we're always in that same range of 70 to 80,000. But then if you look at, stages, you gotta, and we're on grass, we don't have the lot like Greendale has out in their parking lot, where they can do it right on a lot and set up a nice stage too. We're on a hill, a lot of divots, and we pull it off, but we could have a better facility. And I've been trying to get DPW to level that ground out. We even talked at one time at a committee about having it all filled in with cement and having a pavilion or
I've
something.
got an angle towards the drain though, so.
There's a big drain there.
Get paid and roll in the blacktop.
They won't even discuss
Take
it.
over for
That's
that.
the problem.
Well, what about the drain? Isn't that an
And you
issue?
still have to angle it towards the drain though, that's kind of dark, unless they move the drain.
Plumbing.
So the next item for discussion is input and suggestions for all from our committee members for any ideas for the upcoming festival. Like I said, it's going to be, we voted last time on July 3rd to July 5th. So 4th is on a Friday, so we'd be on the night of the 3rd, all day of the 4th, and then on the 5th, pretty much 3 o'clock on, from the band shell in Bella Cane.
How big is the area where the helicopter used to land? How big is that area, and do we get access to that?
For night of the fireworks, we don't get any access to it because that's all
That's all roped off? 'Cause that's-
viewers, but we got access to that on Saturday
Okay.
for Bella Cane. And the helicopter ride used to be right in the back of the
Yeah.
field,
Mhm.
and that whole area is open, open for parking.
Okay. So it's really shut down only for the fireworks because of the.
Yes.
Okay.
But I'd say our parking is very limited and not the best of parking.
Does Aurora opens up across the street, right, on the weekend?
They do, but they don't like people parking in there.
Good corporate citizens.
We used to get we used to have to put a person in the lot patrol. That's when they donated a lot. They don't donate anymore.
Really?
Our biggest helper now is Payne and Dolan. Then Irish Cottage.
Of course.
Yeah?
Have you thought about, I'm just brainstorming, all right, and I'm only thinking in my little world of Harley Davidson and all the money we spend. Because when you do a Harley rally, we break out our checkbooks, all right? And it's not the typical Harley, it's not the Outlaws or the Hells Angels out of California anymore. It's corporate guys like me who ride and do a lot of charitable causes. Have you thought about maybe just, and I'd be happy to do it, I'm not gonna throw it on someone, is just meeting with Mark at the House of Harley and saying, is there a way we can partner with you to do a charity ride for veterans that has a stop at Franklin for Bella Cane, right? Where we offer a free beer or something to get people, because they're gonna drink more and more. Where your beer sales are down, I'll tell you, I'm just brainstorming. One, you're not getting guys like me who are gonna have 2 or 3 on my bike, right? 2, I'm guaranteeing you people are sneaking them in, all right?
And that's the other thing you can't, right, exactly, you can't stop there too.
Yep.
And my wife was ticket cashier for the night of Bella Cane.
Yeah.
She says, I can't believe how many people bought 1 ticket
Yeah.
versus someone that buys 2 or 4 tickets.
Yeah. So if the committee thinks that's something, I'll even talk to Bill Michaels. Bill Michaels does a great promotion. I'm doing his Veterans Ride this Sunday where he could even come. And if you give him some stage time before a good band, people will come just to see him to talk about his Veterans Ride for Fisher House.
I did check into Harley at one time when we were having a hard time getting tent rentals because of the labor. We almost didn't have a tent.
Okay.
And Harley's got that portable sound stage and everything
Yeah.
that they do, over on Layton Avenue.
Mm-hmm.
I looked at possibly renting that for the second one.
We'll let the committee, but if you want, I'll talk to Mark from the House of Harley and see if there's something they'd be willing, you know, you gotta throw it against the wall. If it sticks, great. If it doesn't, right?
That'd be fantastic.
But that guy's a marketing genius, and
Yeah.
he's built that empire over there and did a good job. Sorry, I don't mean to.
No, that's excellent.
I have a question. How many riders do you get for these?
For the house, for the one coming up for the Fisher House, there'll be about 1,200 bikes.
Say we even get half of that.
Yeah.
Where are we gonna put them?
That's the problem, and that's why I asked about Aurora across the street. You've got, when I rode here last time, you had a small spot for Harleys.
Right down Schuler Drive, yeah,
Well, we went right in, I don't know what the names of the streets, we went right in.
yeah.
So we had front row parking, you had about 20 bikes parked there.
Right next to the porta potties.
Yeah,
That
yeah.
has been filled with tons.
So parking seems to be your big constraint for, is what I'm guessing. I don't know.
Have we ever looked at shuttles in the junior high?
We did it 2 years ago.
That's a cost too.
No, they had the buses were donated. Kane and Dolan donated their 2 buses, and we had parking at Ben Franklin, no, or Pleasant, or Forest View.
Forest Field.
Or Forest Park, sorry. Yeah, no, I think 5 people took it. They sat here all night, nobody wanted to, even when we had the wall up at the high school. Because there was parking up at the high school, there's 500 parking spots. They could have just parked there, took the shuttle down and did their thing and went back and left, but.
How much are you competing against the Rock on 4th of July? I don't go there because I don't like the owner, so. No
They've
offense.
turned into a competitor rather than a helper.
Okay.
They were, in the beginning, a big help. Over the last 3-4 years, we don't get any, we used to get donations from them and from the milkman. We would help them promote the milkmen, and no, we don't get any. Last year we had nothing.
All right.
And so they do stuff, they even do some fireworks. The year we canceled fireworks because of the weather, they did fireworks.
I think it's his mission to put everybody out of business.
You know?
All right. Sorry, my personal opinion, I'll shut up now.
No,
You're
No, we-
in like-minded people.
Just. All right. Well, if the committee agrees,
Yes.
I'll talk to House of Harley, and maybe it's a daytime thing when traffic's less, right? Where it's because sometimes what we'll do is we'll do multiple stops. So if we put this on one of the stops on a Harley ride, it's a short stop. It's come in, 2-3 beers, off to the next stop. And that might be something I can see if Mark would be willing to participate in.
I think that Saturday afternoon would be almost the best. You know, because all we got, and then Friday's the 4th of July. You got that as a special holiday that you really can't get outside, interest in. And then we got the Thursday night, which is just the Thursday night. I say that Saturday afternoon, as long as we can get something set up away from that stage, and Bella King can set up on that main stage. I could see putting something else up.
Gotta need a portable stage, that's possibly an answer, right?
Okay.
Where-
And then it's also been suggested Greendale's got kiosks too off on the side where they sell beer. Like with Bella Cane, they sell it, but we can't get the volunteers. We can't get the volunteers to do it.
What's the difference? I mean, the Lions do everything in Greendale. The Greendale Lions are so. The Lions in Franklin are active in a large group too, right?
All the other Lions clubs have a lot more members than we do.
Oh, okay.
There's 3 Lions clubs in Franklin. So there's the noon Lions, because we meet at noon.
Yeah.
We have 18 members, and several of those are not active because of health concerns and other issues. The Lioness have about the same, which are all women, and they volunteer and help us in our food booth. And then the evening club has got about 35, and I can imagine that Greendale would have about the same amount.
Yeah.
So they have more manpower than we do.
particular, because I'm good friends with Scott Cohen, and he's always, because I go to him for the police department, and he's always willing. He says, just tell me what you want, I can do it. But we tried to get him in the bar, and there was a falling out with that area.
Because they wanna run it.
Well, they were helping, and they were giving him pointers on what to do, and it didn't go over well, and people got offended, and what are we gonna do? I mean, they would step in too.
Pour beer, set down, collect ticket. I mean,
I know. Well, it was
Yeah.
the way that the beer was being
not enough foamy
stored,
stuff, or,
and
okay.
whatever it was. We have all cans, so they just, everything was getting warm, and they were upset that there wasn't enough ice, and it was a cluster.
And one other thing, Joe, we had somebody bring up, why do you do ticket sales for beer rather than doing cash sales?
Yeah.
We've done the tickets, you know, and it allows us to keep track, you know, for our security and for our accounting. Tickets are numbered, and we now have all cashiers get like a bank teller accounted for. Then we also know how many tickets we had numbered, how many we sold versus how much. I do it because it's best for audit control, you know, and to justify our costs.
Well, you don't know who's skimming.
Right.
I mean, hey, we're not stupid, right? I mean, I worked beer sales in college for the Bucks. Shit, everybody stole from them. It was just pathetic. Pardon my language, I'm sorry. It's, but, yeah. But I think Greendale does ticket sales too, don't they?
I wouldn't know.
Now they do cash.
They do it, no, they do it where when you pay one person, that person takes it to a person sitting at a table, that's a cashier.
Okay.
Then it slows up your sales, but again, it has no record of how many, you know, yeah, they have the cash there, but then I like having numbered tickets. I feel safer that
The
way.
tickets really work good.
And it works, and it's quick. Once you sell it, they'll give you a sheet of 5 tickets and boom, boom, boom. You know, we can't stop anyone from giving away beers to people they know. We know that happens. And also, our food vendors are all on an honor system. Yep. And we used to have tickets for them, and we used to have to weigh the tickets, and it was a nightmare. And we'll never go back to that.
How do you monitor that on an honor system? That's gotta be tough, right? I mean, wow.
I kind of go by, you know, there's volunteers that get tickets, you know, for serving as volunteers. Committee members get tickets. What food vendors get so many tickets. It should be what ratio should be the same that their sales ratio is. Doesn't work. Because some of us like to get corn more than we do anything else, you know.
We had a long-term record of what the food sales were when we switched over, so we would have been able to tell if someone suddenly dropped off the table. And
So you had
so
the issue.
when we bring in a new person, that we kind of like, okay, kind of just watch them and see how busy they are. See if they make sense. And
Do you have all the bands lined up already for the 4th?
I have to get city approval for that's after I do this income statement. Then I go in front of common council and get spending approval for signing contracts for entertainment and all that stuff. We have Bella Kane on hold, but, you know, sooner I can sign up on them, feel better about having them booked in. But I can't do it until,
10 to 15 grand a night?
no,
That's-
they're 9. And that includes the sound. So it's like paying 7. Lunch Money Bullies, even after they came back, they were 4,000. They came this year and wanted 6,000. And I said, okay, you know, you were the lowest sales of all, you know, 6,000 would have been second highest to anybody else. So,
Now, do people come to Franklin and say, here, we'd like to play? Or you gotta solicit? Because what about 33 RPM? That is a huge draw.
We've had them,
Yeah.
yep. And we're looking at the radio band, which is a former Cherry Pie.
Oh, Cherry Pie's no more?
No, they split up.
Yes.
So the lead singer split up and started his band, and he's at a reasonable price right now in order to play. And Carl and I went and listened to him on Saturday night. So but that's not
It's a
really
lead
a
singer?
Harley band, no.
Well, no, Cherry Pie was. You know, Cherry Pie did a lot of Harley events. But if it's the lead singer, as long as it's marketed right, you know, if he can somehow say, you know, Joe Schmo, formerly of Cherry Pie, or I don't know what the legality of it is, that would still draw, not even just me, but it always drew a lot of people wherever we're at. So,
Yeah.
I mean, they've gone to Wisconsin Harley, they've gone to, you know, the museum. I mean, I've seen them everywhere. So,
But 33 RPM is a good one, and we haven't had them for a while. So that might be one for the 4th.
it's a good draw. You just got to
Yeah.
book them before the competition down there.
Yeah.
I can't believe they booked Bellicane on a Wednesday.
Let me ask you something.
Yeah.
All these Harley things,
Yeah.
what's the bill for them?
Like the House of Harley, when they do an event, they sponsor it, they foot all the bill, and then
They're
it's
paying
all,
for the band.
yeah, and then
They're
it's all
negotiating on
liquor
their
sales.
own.
Yep.
Are they buying their own beer and doing everything on their own,
Yeah.
selling their own beer?
Yeah.
So they're controlling everything.
So they're bringing in the vendors, they're bringing in like Bud Light is their big partner. And they bring it in, but the sales that they make off guys like me, I mean, when you start adding that all up, you know, that's what you're dealing with.
So Harley per se is Harley per se giving them any money for these,
No.
or these are just the dealerships that are
Just the
putting these
dealerships.
on?
They put it
So
on.
they're eating everything.
Yep, so
So
they
we
put
don't
the
know if
upfront.
they're making any money or losing any money on
They keep doing them every year.
it. That doesn't answer my question.
So they're not selling bikes on these events, I can tell you that, and they'll sell a little bit of apparel. All the money is made in liquor sales and food sales. It's like a little mini festival. And I'm not saying that's the right way to go, I'm really not, because it's a gamble, right? You think of 4th of July, it's a family event.
What we run into, right, ours is on the 4th
Yeah.
versus other ones that have special weekends that they do it, like Greendale has Village Days, Oak Creek has the
Lions
Labor
Club, Labor Day
Lions
Fest.
Labor Day thing. We are committed to the 4th of July. But 33 RPM would be another, you know, we're thinking Bruce City Horns, yeah.
There's 5 or 6 I can think, well, we talked about a number of who I'm not the expert on it, but I've gone to like 15 festivals this year. So you get to see people, who draws, who doesn't, what they're charging for beer at all these places, what the crowds are like. It's kind of interesting, it is.
What's the lowest they charge for beer?
5. Several have gone to 6 on their own for everything. Several have kept your basics at 5 and gone to 6 on the premium stuff. Several have gone on craft beer to 7. And I don't know what they're selling.
We've been at $5 for probably 10 years.
Did you say you're at
Ever
6
since we
now?
went with cans, I think we've been $5. 'Cause we used to do drafts.
It's
Yeah. Did you know that?
Yeah.
Yep.
a lot of waste.
It used to be all draft.
Yeah, with volunteers, that's hard.
Okay.
Yep.
Any other information you want to share or ask?
Whiskey bells, they're a good draw.
Whiskey Bowl. We've had three ladies.
Yeah, that'd be a good afternoon band.
Yeah.
So,
We've had them.
Didn't go
Maybe it
well.
was maybe because it was a really hot day, it did not go well.
Then forget it.
But Pat McCurdy, we've had Pat McCurdy,
He's still kicking?
Yes, he is.
Doo Wop Daddies.
Yeah.
They were a good draw.
They didn't spend a lot.
But they changed.
They did.
They've changed.
Yeah, I'll give you half and half.
They're not the same band, the same leadership, you know.
Right.
But the sooner, because we got to compete against Summerfest, we got to compete against Greendale, we got to compete against Oak Creek.
Here's what you're competing against next year. I hate to say this, but you're also going to compete, a week later is going to be Harley Homecoming. So a lot of people may save up their time for that as well.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying it's going to be a competition, but
This is like training for them.
yeah. So that might be something to think about when, just as.
Gotta build up your tolerance.
Yeah. So that's going to be a Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday event as well.
Whoa.
And that's the weekend right after the 4th of July, unfortunately.
The weekend after. Yeah.
Where is it? Where are they doing most of it?
The museum and then the lakefront.
Okay.
But then here's where you're competing with all the dealerships who bring in bands.
Right.
So also Harley's your number one competitor that following weekend, but that doesn't affect the 4th of July, hopefully. But you never know, right? I mean,
What are they charging for beer?
shit, $8. So you go down to the museum to buy a beer, you're probably $8, $9,
What about the Harley dealerships? What are they charging?
$6. But they're selling 16-ounce cans too.
We did too.
That's what we do.
Summerfest, our $5 ones were 9 and 11.
Yeah. Okay, anyone want to offer anything else, like adjournment?
Motion to adjourn.
Do I have a second? Those in favor? Aye. Those opposed? Meeting adjourned.